Okay, well, thank you everyone for coming today. I appreciate you taking the time out of your day, especially as a lot of you are experiencing some sun today. So yeah, it's a bit of a novelty. So I appreciate you coming to this instead of going outside and enjoying it. So today we'll be showcasing three providers that can enable cloud telephony in that transition from on-premise PBX to the cloud. My name is Scott Aldridge and I work for Primetel. We put on these webinars quite regularly, but our role is essentially to act as an independent advisor to organizations like yourselves that are looking to make a technology change. We provide a service that helps companies find the best solution for their business. And that's opposed to working as a company that's trying to shoehorn your requirement into their product set. And we find this approach works really well. So we've built this model that you see in front of you that can be adapted to your individual needs, and you can pick and choose how you engage with us. We've seen a lot of success with organizations that engage with us on the investigation and evaluation stage, especially when it comes to PBX migration. We're able to deploy software on your PBX and that can scan the current environment or run a scan on a backup, which can give you a really good evaluation of your current estate. And then we can start to advise on things that can or cannot be migrated to the cloud. We can then build a solution design around this. And as it shows, we can take that through the tender process. We've got skills in writing tenders, managing that. We can work on the supplier selection and evaluation piece, and a lot of organizations just jump to that piece with us because we've evaluated so many suppliers already. We've got a lot of experience in this space, and we can quickly work out which supplier is going to be best for your business, be it technical, commercial, whatever your key drivers are. And like I say, Primetel, we are flexible, so you can engage with us on any of the steps that you see here. Our business at director level has 50 years of experience, and our business is based on trust and independence, and as a result, we've won awards for our work. Here at Primetel, we cover a number of technologies and have run events similar to this. Like you can see here today, some of our core product set. So if any of these are of interest, then please do let us know, and we can take you through the same process that we would take you through with hosted telephony, which is what we're focusing on today. Hosted telephony uptake has grown rapidly. With the impact of COVID, we've seen over an 80% in demand increase since 2020. However, we at Primetel feel that hosted telephony as a term doesn't really do the service justice. The industry will refer to it as Unified Communication as a Service, or UCaaS. And this term encapsulates the additional features that the technology can provide over and above just the dial tone, such as video meetings, which are going to be here to stay. I think we all agree that. Instant messaging between colleagues, and multiple access methods. Companies are realizing that they can make significant cost savings by swapping mobile phone contracts for bring your own device plans and installing the software for the UCaaS platform on the staff's phone. As it's cloud-based, it's inherently resilient, it's flexible, there's no end-of-life issues that you get with on-premise PBX, there's no lengthy maintenance contracts, and best of all, we see this feature as probably the main selling point for most organizations looking at these types of technologies is integration. If you've got a Salesforce, you want your telephony platform to integrate into your CRM, or whatever department might see that as a benefit, internal IT, for instance, integration is a lot easier when it comes to these types of technologies. So as promised, today we'll hear from three providers that can enable this transition. We have Avaya with their cloud office platform, Colt Technology Services, utilizing Microsoft Teams, and Mitel with their Micloud offering. So once again, thank you for coming. And first up, we have Craig at Avaya. Sorry, Ash at Avaya.
Has my name changed recently?
I don't know why, Craig.
We have got a Craig at Avaya actually, but yeah, colleagues. Yeah. So I'm Ash from Avaya. Nice to meet everyone. Thank you for joining today. Let me just share my presentation. Hoping to walk you guys through an overview of the Avaya Cloud Office by RingCentral platform and start that process by, sorry guys, need to get my slide in. By talking about how we can simplify communications and reduce the total cost of ownership by migrating from on-premise to cloud. Something that certainly our customers are talking to us about a lot nowadays, more so with the impact of COVID-19 and numerous other trends that are driving cloud adoption. So I head up the UK channel, so I work quite closely with the team at Primetel. Had some good success with other customers so far, helping them with their cloud migrations. And we really have something here that's sort of best in class but differentiated. And just to set a scene for everyone on the call today, the two questions I'd like you to have sort of in the top of your mind really all the way through this are why should customers move from on-premise to cloud? And then of course, why Avaya Cloud Office? And I'll show you a quick demonstration as well of the platform in my 15-minute slot. So why are customers moving to the cloud? So talking to our customers, partners, analysts, a number of key trends are becoming quite recurring themes. So being able to work from anywhere is really important now with the government mandating home working, and home working or certainly hybrid working being something that's here to stay for sure. Total cost of ownership is really important. How much does a hosted system cost on a subscription basis rather than a CapEx purchase traditionally? Cloud migration, many other services that you guys already use might be in the cloud already, from CRM to ERP, call recording, email, lots and lots of back office platforms already in the cloud. So it just makes sense to review communications and moving them into the same environment. Teams integration is a massive driver for cloud migration at the moment. Lots and lots of companies are looking for ways to seamlessly integrate robust voice capabilities into that Microsoft Teams experience everyone's been using for the past year or so. I think 145 million users a day. I'm sure that the team at Colt could keep me honest on that stat. Omnichannel customer experience, really important, being able to communicate with your customers on the channels of their choosing, be that voice, multimedia, digital, social. And employee experience is quite key as well. Making sure that your team are efficient and making sure we can automate those processes and speed up those workflows to help deliver that customer experience. Now, key benefits of moving to cloud, we're finding companies can unify communications across the entire group. We can simplify that multi-site management. We can flex when the business needs to cope with seasonal demands and peaks in demand. Instant access to the very latest features. And then, of course, connecting those mobile and remote workforces. Of all the trends that we keep seeing, one of the most recurring common ones we speak about is the total cost of ownership. And that's something I want to deep dive into just for a couple of slides now. So total cost of ownership is often lower with a cloud solution. But to draw a true comparison, it's really important to do what we would call look beneath the waterline. So I've used the analogy here of an iceberg to represent the sort of all the different facets involved with supporting an on-premise and maintaining and modernizing an on-premise traditional PBX phone system. So typically, when you're considering the cost and evaluating those costs, you look at the cost of the handsets, the devices, the software licenses, and the hardware. But peeking beneath the waterline are other costs that you might not perhaps associate in with that overall telephony cost when drawing the true comparison. So think about things like the licensing and maintenance contracts, software and firmware, hardware upgrades, fighting for those budgets every year to make sure the platform's in the latest version of software with all the patches. Any standalone business services, that could be fax, audio conferencing, video conferencing, recording, analytics, again, another contract and another cost. Telecom charges, called local, long distance, international, toll-free charges. We've got things like telco connectivity, voice, PRI, tier 1 data. We've got multi-site connectivity, and of course replacement and upgrade parts. So when you consider all the different factors and then draw the comparison of the true cost of ownership for an on-premise system versus the single subscription from one contract, a lot of our customers have reported some quite significant savings, and some even upwards of 30% every year, which is quite good. Now, one thing that a cloud solution allows you to do is not build a high watermark. And what I mean by that is you don't have to add those extra 10 licenses at the beginning and pay for the implementation and pay for the support, ready for those new starters that might be starting next month or next quarter. There's no upfront investment required, or very minimal upfront investment, because the training, the porting, the implementation is included in the subscription. And you can simply add those new users whenever they start and then start paying for them, truly pay as you use. And all the upgrades happen automatically every quarter. So there's no fighting for that budget or having to pay to get the system updated to the latest version of software. It just happens. It's included as part of the subscription. Now, moving to cloud can deliver a total cost of ownership improvement and a self-funded roadmap through consolidating those different services. Now, I've picked out 5 different services on the left here of how a current situation might look for an on-premise platform. So you might have a contract with a carrier, you might have a contract with someone for messaging and chat capabilities, somebody else for collaboration and web conferencing. Of course, you've got the PBX management, maintenance and support contracts. You've got a data center and a hardware cost, security, analytics, call recording, integration. The list goes on. Each of those services or applications carry a cost as well. Now, looking at the future state, we're moving from sort of best of breed to best of suite, where these applications quite simply become features in the subscription. And if anything, the potential cost savings is the biggest feature of all. So really important when we're comparing the costs of an on-premise phone system with a migration to cloud, that we consider every adjacent, every complementary, every associated service with that particular platform. Now, why Avaya Cloud Office by RingCentral? Well, what you've got with Avaya Cloud Office by RingCentral is a collaboration between the biggest, fastest growing cloud company, RingCentral, and the most respected, one of the longest standing, reputable communication and collaboration vendors in Avaya. And together we've launched a platform we're calling Avaya Cloud Office by RingCentral, and it combines the huge strengths of both companies. Down the right-hand side here, you'll see all the different features that RingCentral provide out of the box to its customers. So 5 nines uptime, guaranteed, contracted. It's very scalable, lots of open APIs. Analytics, call, message, and meet capability with generous capacity. And on the left-hand side, we've improved the platform by bringing the Avaya desk phones, the Avaya conference units, a lot of the Avaya features, Avaya migration tools to make it a seamless and risk-free transition. And we're wrapping the Avaya support, the global support services around the platform as well, including in-country customer success. So we're taking an already leading platform and actually improving it and delivering it through our Avaya partners for the same price. So double the R&D, double the innovation for no additional cost. Now, I'll show you a brief demonstration shortly, but rest assured this platform is easy to use with one number, everything synchronized across all devices, a little like email. You can flip calls from one device to the other, and you've got a single voicemail box to manage those incoming messages with speech to text transcriptions. Easy to communicate, we can chat, we can team message, we can file share, we can fax, again synchronized across all devices. We can meet easily via video with integrated task management and desktop and application sharing. We can record, we can stream. It's even easier to manage as well with a browser-based management interface. We can add users, auto attendance, IVRs and groups in minutes, manage devices, call flows, and everything associated with the upkeep of a modern cloud platform. Now, we integrate with over 140 back office applications out of the box. The popular one's been the Microsoft and Google suite, but we also have self-service integrations of platforms like Salesforce and Bullhorn and Zendesk and all the other popular CRM platforms and other third-party applications where a lot of users live now, quite frankly. So embedding these capabilities in those platforms can really improve efficiencies. Now, the Avaya advantage with this platform here is we've taken the already best-in-class solution, added the Avaya features, brought in the Avaya migration toolkits, can fully support proof of concepts for customers, got a dedicated customer success team. And what you can do here really is you can actually have all the solutions without that multi-vendor headache. It's one hand to shake. It's an authentically Avaya solution. And I'd love to just give you a quick demonstration now of the user experience on my mobile. So I'll just stop sharing the slides. Scott, if you can just let me know when the mobile phone screen comes through.
Will do.
So it should be in 3, 2, 1. How am I for time? Am I okay for time?
Yeah, you're fine. Yeah, and it's come through. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. So what you'll see here is the mobile app running on my iPhone. It just sits in the bottom right corner in my system tray with push notifications enabled to deliver calls to me on my one number. Works on 3G, 4G and Wi-Fi. I'm on my home Wi-Fi at the moment. Really good on battery life as well. Doesn't drain the battery, which is excellent. And what you'll see here is on the bottom, I can call, I can message, and I can meet. So message, video, phone, MVP. Now texting actually is a US only feature. I'm on the company's US based platform. So we can't text in the UK, but it is on roadmap for later this year. And I can access my contacts as well quite easily. So in the phone tab, I've got my dial pad. I'm showing a block number right now, but I can display my DDI. I can display the main company number, a team number, or a fax number, or an international virtual number. It's really up to me. I can make and receive calls really easily. I can look at my recent call logs by all calls or missed calls, even check out my voicemails from the app as well. And you'll see my voicemails, there's a speech to text transcript as well. You can play the voicemail, call the person back, bookmark it, share it, etc. All from within this nice phone tab within the application itself. The top right corner, I can set up a new call or create a new conference. So the sort of features you'd expect from a soft phone on a mobile application. Moving over to messages here, you'll see I've got all messages, I've got my direct message threads, my team messages, and my favorites tab. In the top right corner, hit the plus icon, I can create a new message, I can invite someone to message with me internally or externally, or I can create a team to message a number of people and start audio conference calls and video conference calls from those team collaboration sessions. My colleague Ross is on lunch at the moment, but I asked him to send me some messages across a little while earlier, which he's done. He's tagged me by name. He's passed me a PDF document I can look at here and preview. I can share or download that. He's sent me a task, which is update an RFP response, which I can complete there. And he sent me a GIF as well. So a lot of these features can be turned on or turned off, but quite good fun. So I can take what Ross said here, I can emoji it, or I can quote it and just reply to him. Or hit the plus icon and I can set tasks, events, create notes, attach files, photos, or share my own GIFs. And I can call or video call Ross in the top right corner. The 3 dots just show me all the files, anything we've pinned, any tasks, any links we've shared in the last 12 months. So it's great to search for those documents that you shared a few months ago, but you can't remember what they're called or where they were. In the top left corner is my avatar. It picks up my status from my calendar. I can put a local status on, like I could put demo here now, which updates across all the applications and all the browsers. I can go in and out of the call queue, look at my faxes, my tasks, and I can even get into the analytics portal from the mobile app, because analytics is available out of the box with the Avaya Cloud Office. So you can get some actionable insight around the key MI in the business and usage, from adoption usage to performance reports, and a personal favorite is the quality of service report on the overall system. So quite a rich application. From a video perspective, I can join the video conference, I can start one, schedule one, or join somebody else's if I know their meeting pin. And the top right corner, I can look at recent meetings, recordings, change settings, configure a calendar. It's all nice and neatly in one easy to use, simple app on one number that just sits in the background on my iPhone and works on any network. So I think I've taken my full complement of 15 minutes. The last thing to share with everyone is details of an exclusive offer we can make available to Primetel customers, and that is if I can get my there we go. So we have 4 different licensing tiers: entry, standard, premium and ultimate. So we range from £8 per user per month to £23 per user per month, and we'll offer you 25% off any service addition, with the first 2 months free of charge, and a half price on handsets and devices. That can include headsets, conference phones, handsets or video conferencing units. And we can offer you a monthly or annual billing option. So some great discounts on a reliable, secure, high quality, leading platform and migration tools to make that move from on-premise to cloud really easily. And we'd love to work with Primetel and assess the current environment and see what cost savings we can show to you guys. Thank you for your time, and I'll hand back to to Scott.
Brilliant. Thank you, Ash. Yeah, if anyone's got any questions, just feel free to take yourself off mute, or there is a little chat box down there. So ask at any time, and then I'll open them up to the guys at appropriate points. So yeah, thank you, Ash. We've worked with Avaya and the Cloud Office proposition since it began, really, and you know, when we put their solution in front of clients, it's come over really well. You know, both from a you know, the technology behind it through the Ring Central platform, but also the pedigree that Avaya have got in this space. You know, the two combining with the cherry on top of aggressive commercials has meant, you know, that we've seen a number of solutions go that way. So definitely a partner to consider should you be looking to make a change, but we can help you through that. So thank you, Ash. Well, next up we have Mr. Barker from Colt talking about Teams.
Thank you, Scott. Let me just quickly share my screen and let me know when you can see that okay. Is that all good on your side, Scott? Can you see that?
I can see it, yeah.
Yeah,
marvellous. Thank you very much. So good afternoon, everybody. Just a quick introduction. So my name's David Barker, and I'm one of the sales overlays here at Colt, and I sit in the Cloud Voice team. So what I'll be talking to you about today is about moving traditional telephony services over to direct routing on Microsoft Teams. Now, as I'm sure you're aware, Microsoft and Teams is now up to 145 million users as of the last statistics that Microsoft released on Teams. This gave users the ability to be able to collaborate when working from home during the pandemic. So this is why we've seen this huge spike of users migrate across over to Teams, because it's allowed us to work from home. Now, what we get asked a lot now is around how do I now connect my voice telephony platform to Microsoft Teams to allow PSTN calling. Now, there's two ways you can do this. Number one, you can go to Microsoft and you can buy their calling plans. Or secondly, you can do something called direct routing on Microsoft Teams, which is effectively where you can go to a carrier such as Colt, and that carrier can then enable the voice services on Microsoft Teams. And this is what we're doing now for many customers across the business and around the world. Now, our product line for direct routing on Microsoft Teams is Colt Intelligent Communications, and it's built up of, so number one is the applications. So this is the licensing with Microsoft. So we can provide E5, E3 licensing and the business voice licensing, which is effectively where you're buying your own phone system through Microsoft, and we support all of the respective applications. The second part is around the connectivity. Now, Colt has a product called Cloud Prioritization, which is where we built our network now that is built directly with Microsoft. So we built these peering points between the Colt and the Microsoft networks that it now enables the best quality paths and the lowest latency when delivering traffic for both voice and data between the two respective networks. On the voice side, then we provide the SIP trunking services in 27 countries, and we also provide the session border controller, which is the component that effectively is the demarcation point between the Colt network and the customer's Office 365 tenant. And then lastly, this is all supported by professional services, where we have a professional services wrap that now enables users to move across to Teams, and we can support with that migration path. So from a SIP trunking perspective, as mentioned, we've got 27 countries globally now where we can support SIP trunking. So in the 13 Colt countries here on the left, this is where Colt is the network owner. It's where we are the the registered telephone provider in these countries. So for the UK, if you was to look at the Ofcom website and look at the number ranges, then if Colt was what we call the originating range holder, as in we took the DDI range directly from Ofcom, then this would appear in the spreadsheet. So this is where we are the registered telco provider, and it means that we are also responsible for things such as the emergency call handling database, where we are in a position to provide all of that information to the emergency services. In the global SIP countries, this is where Colt has expanded the SIP trunking offering globally, where we use partners now throughout the telecoms industry to support us in these respective countries. But once again, any service taken here would be taken directly through Colt, and Colt would be responsible for the service, would be responsible for the emergency call handling, and would be responsible for any porting as well of numbers between respective networks. And as mentioned, one of the key parts now of direct routing on Microsoft Teams is the underlying network. And every organization will need a reliable and a robust network to deliver the key and core voice and data packets that are going over the network and to be delivered between respective organizations. So this is now where Colt is in a very, very good position with our recent agreement with Microsoft. So the cloud's prioritization product is where we built 25 public peering points between the Colt and the Microsoft networks, and also 7 private peering points. So Colt has something called a single AS number, which is 8220. And what it means is that any traffic that is now being sent over the Colt network into Microsoft now takes what we call a single hop. So it's taking one peering point from the Colt network directly into Microsoft. This means now that the traffic is not being aggregated across multiple routers and multiple internet providers. And it means as well that the traffic is being delivered with an SLA of 30 milliseconds. So this ensures now that any traffic that is being delivered between the Colt and the Microsoft networks and vice versa is taking the best quality paths, and it's being provided with the lowest latency possible. And the way this works is if you were to take, let's say, a 100 meg IP access circuit or internet circuit with Colt, what we do is we segregate the bandwidth on that circuit, and we put in a portion that would now be dedicated solely for Microsoft traffic and Microsoft traffic only. So you'd actually have 2 paths on that circuit to deliver the traffic. So you'd have one, which would be any other business. So that would go over the internet as normal, but you'd now have a second path on that route that would now deliver all of the traffic directly through to Microsoft. Now, architecturally, how does this look? So if you were thinking about a move to direct routing on Teams, then these are the components involved, and this is how architecturally this could look. So if we start here at the bottom with the PSTN, then what will happen is, from an incoming call perspective, then the call will come into the Colt network from the PSTN. It would hit our Sonos 7K session border controllers, which sits on the edge of our network, and the calls now would then route over our core internet's public backbone. From here, we would now deliver the traffic to these devices here, which are the session border controllers. Now, there's 2 types of session border of controller you can take here. So number one is you can have what we call a dedicated SBC. And this is where we build and create a dedicated session border controller environment for customers. So it means that any traffic that is being delivered to that SBC is specifically for that customer and for that customer only. In this instance, we would either ask the customer to provide Colt with some rack space in a data center or a public cloud instance such as Azure or AWS for us to actually deploy those session border controllers. At the same time, if you were looking for Colt to provide rack space or a public cloud instance to support the deployment of the session border controller, then this is something that we can help you with. The other option here on the audio codes edition SBC is this is what we call our shared environment or our multi-tenanted environment. So this is now where Colt has built 2 Cloud Edition session border controllers into the Colt network. So these sit in our own Microsoft Azure instances. And essentially our job here is to bring users across and host users now onto these SBCs. From a customer perspective now, this means that from an architectural and hardware, there's no need now to deploy any services yourselves, either on-premise or in the network. All of the features and all of the hardware and all of the architecture is now in the Colt network. So it's a fully managed and it's a fully owned service now by Colt. From here, the call would route past the SBC and it would now be targeted towards Microsoft. So we would now target the Cloud PBX that is in the Microsoft Cloud and is part of your Microsoft licensing. So that's the phone system add-on license. And then from here, the Cloud PBX would then route the call through to the Microsoft Teams users that are sitting in the Microsoft Office 365 tenant. So the Teams users would sit in your respective Office 365 tenant, and each user would have the phone system enabled against that user, which now means that that user has the ability to make calls out to the PSTN using Microsoft Teams from their desktop or from their mobile, and also to receive calls from the PSTN into Microsoft Teams. And lastly, here at the bottom, this is the internet access that we spoke about now. So Teams users can now connect to that Office 365 tenant over the Colt network by delivering the traffic now by using our dedicated private and public peering points between the Colt and the Microsoft network. And all of this is supported by our professional services team. Now, we appreciate a move to Microsoft and to direct routing on Teams is sometimes quite challenging and there's a lot of work involved, and that's why these level of support services are in place. So just a number of things that our teams do on behalf of our customers. So number one is they all look at things such as consultancy. So it's where we can actually look at the existing setup today and how we believe this would look best going forward. You know, looking at the PBX, what features are important to you, what features could be retained in terms of a move across to Microsoft Teams. Any installation and configuration of services, so this will be the session border controllers. It can also be handsets and headsets, which are also part of the product portfolio. All of this can be handled by ourselves. The migration, so any users who are migrating across from your existing PBX infrastructure over to Teams can be managed by Colt. So this is where we would migrate the users across to the Office 365 tenants. We would set up the dial plans. We would ensure that all of the users are enabled with the phone system license so that they're in a position now where they can begin to make calls and receive calls from the PSTN. Any training that's required is also on offer. So this can be training on Teams. It can be training on Office 365. So that service is also available. You've got the adoption services as well, where if you're looking at different services within the market, then the adoption services training is also available. And then lastly, any service changes that were ever required. So if you needed to make a change to some configurations on the session border controller, once again, this is all handled by Colt. So all of our session border controllers are managed and monitored internally. So we make sure that if there's ever an issue with a session border controller, then we are aware of it before yourselves. And it means that we would be in a position where we would be fixing that particular service change at that moment in time in the background. And then just to give you an idea of the ecosystem that we work from here, as we've mentioned, then there's a number of services available as part of the Colt Communications portfolio. There's also there's a big drive at the moment, disabled or will be disabling specific handsets on Teams in the summer of 2023. So there's a big drive now moving towards Yealink and Poly handsets, because they will be what we call native Teams phones. So these phones will be supported now and also post the summer of 2023 for Teams. But also we're seeing a big drive on the headsets as well, because we now need to be flexible in terms of where we work, and this will give us the capability to work anywhere. Another component that is largely spoken about now is around contact center. So where customers are moving to direct routing on Teams, they're also thinking about how they can interact and bring in the contact center that is currently in place today. So Colt has two options available. Number one, there's the Luware platform, which is where Luware have built their contact center services solely around Microsoft. And then we've also got the Nice in Contact platform, which now has direct API into Microsoft Teams. So the two services can actually be integrated into one another. From a session border controller perspective, then Audio Codes is our chosen partner. So they provide the session border controllers. So they provide us with the Mediant 800 series, which is the on-premise devices. They also provide us with the virtual editions, the SBCs that sit in the cloud, and also the larger SBCs, which is the cloud edition devices. Then we can also provide those too. And as mentioned, this is all service wraps now with our professional services teams and our internet access circuits, which is Colt's prioritization. And that's it for myself.
Perfect. Thank you, Dave. A few issues with the line there, but it wasn't too.
Oh, sorry about that.
Yeah, that's all right. No, thank you. It's all right. Just as a note, we also consult on SD-WAN services. So if you have remote users that are struggling with bandwidth issues, then we can deploy a solution that would negate that that sound that you heard. So just bear that in mind. Teams is a really interesting one. You know, we've seen it come a long way since lockdown. You know, lots of organisations were kind of, I wouldn't say forced, but went down the path of least resistance by deploying Microsoft Teams for remote workers because it was already there, installed on their laptops and desktops. But I think, you know, what people quickly realise is that it wasn't very cost effective in terms of the call plans going directly with Microsoft, and almost certainly quickly realised that the support wasn't at the right level that it needed to be for voice-based services. So these are where you know, organisations like Colt can come in and add real value. You know, Colt is a carrier, and as a result, they built their business around supporting voice communications. You know, Teams is an overlay to their network as opposed to their network supporting Teams. So you know, the two are very intrinsically linked, but one I would say is a lot more important than the other because you need to be in control of that underlying infrastructure. So thank you, Dave. That was really good. Next up, we have Daniel at Mitel.
Thanks, Scott. Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for joining. So really glad to be here today again. I'm here to talk to you about Mitel's Micloud proposition. So I'm just going to share my screen with everyone, and hopefully you'll be able to see that okay. I'll wait for that to, there we go. Superb. So I want to talk to you about Mitel and its Micloud proposition. Just to give you a bit of background about me, I'm the Business Development Manager here for Micloud in Mitel of the UK. My role is to work with partners like Primetel and with end customers to help identify potential opportunities to improve you know, efficiency, productivity, and ultimately cost saving. I think one of the key messages that I get from the customers and partners that I speak with is around Mitel's cloud story. I don't think there's very many partners or customers that haven't heard of Mitel, but there's very few of them that actually really understand or really appreciate the value proposition of the Micloud solution that we've taken to market. So I want to talk to you a little bit about what that looks like today, who Mitel are. You know, you probably heard of us in the marketplace. We're market leaders for communication solutions, have been around for a very long time, proven track record of supporting customers, helping transform their businesses and evolving their communication solutions to meet the needs of their customers. It's really around helping to find new ways of improving and enhancing those communications experiences. So where Mitel is today, you know, we're global providers. We operate in multiple territories, we operate across multiple markets, deliver a number of solutions into those markets. Here are just some sort of examples of some of the key metrics that we talk about when we're talking about our cloud proposition. Over 5 million cloud users worldwide, of which 1.6 million are using our UCaaS services today. And I think one of the great things about Mitel is this wealth of customers that trust us to deliver, you know, day after day, consistently, reliably, so that they can communicate with their clients, with their customers. You know, they've been relying on our expertise, our innovation, our solutions and services, not just here in the UK, but globally. Some really strong names there, some really good reputations that we have, some really strong relationships that we have with the customers that we serve. Part of the reason that Mitel has been so successful is around this concept of making communications and collaboration seamless. So even before our sort of transition to cloud, one of the key messages was around helping customers find new ways to communicate, whether that's through, you know, endpoints, devices, supporting consistent and reliable call control, enabling collaboration through the use of video, mobility, enabling greater customer experience through things like omni-channel contact centers, providing greater management information and analytics, being able to leverage things like AI and natural language processing, which is something that forms the core of our next generation contact centers. And then in addition to that, we've got more next generation capabilities, communications platform as a service, open APIs, and an Internet of Things, really kind of collaborating and bringing all of these various elements together to give customers a much greater experience, a much more seamless experience in helping them to communicate. That's really what it's all about. It's about letting people choose how they want to work from whatever device they have to hand, wherever they happen to be, but giving them applications and services that really enhance that experience. Mitel has been really focused on helping customers migrate. There is still a very considerable part of our install base that is premises, and there's also a very large part of our business that is private cloud. But certainly with a lot of attention being focused around public cloud over the last 12 months, with customers having to make wholesale changes, having to adapt to you know, new ways of working, public cloud has become possibly one of the biggest focuses for us, certainly. And it's not just about a one-size-fits-all approach. I think that's one great unique part of the Mitel story, is that we've got a wealth of experience that we can draw from across a multitude of different delivery models to support that customer's needs, whether that is through public cloud, whether there's something more specific, more bespoke that we need to deliver, private or dedicated public cloud, or indeed even on premises. Again, still, you know, even in 2021, a big part of our revenue is being derived from premises environments. So it's not just a case of, you know, whatever the customer needs, it's around looking at what their needs are, whether that's CapEx, OpEx. We've got something that can suit every customer's requirement. But what we're here to talk about today is Micloud Connect, because that is our UCaaS proposition for the market. And that's something which, as a solution, offers a complete cloud communications experience. We sell this today. It's our global flagship product for cloud. We sell this here in the UK, US, Canada, New Zealand, and Australia. We're going to be expanding into mainland Europe throughout the rest of this year. What does it give customers? It gives them a consistent and intuitive user experience across all endpoints, all devices. You know, Mitel is one of the few Magic Quadrant providers for UCaaS that offers you know, every element of the service is entirely proprietary. The handsets, the hardware, the applications, the service, everything is delivered and managed by Mitel in terms of that roadmap, in terms of the feature set. It's all built around a concept of mobile first and remote working. So out of the box, it provides that user with the ability to, as we've said already, work from anywhere on any device, as well as in leveraging advanced applications for things like omnichannel contact center with advanced interaction routing. So what does that mean? It means voice can be intelligently routed based on, you know, the customer's requirements, based on their needs. You've also got self-service capabilities, the ability to handle abandoned and scheduled callbacks, but also bringing and leveraging in web chat, email, and also SMS and social as part of the development roadmap for 2021. Because it's a global solution, we offer this solution in many countries that we serve. So for those customers that want to deploy across multiple territories, then Micloud Connect can support that, either through the use of in-country DDIs or by providing their customers with the ability to dial in at no cost to themselves through a local number, as well as supporting international minutes as part of the service offering. One of the great things about Connect is that it does provide a lot of those services, such as UK calling, unlimited UK calling built into the cost of the service, international minutes included in the cost of the service, as well as other things like call recording storage, conferencing usage. All of that is just unlimited and part of the service that we offer. So helping that customer to keep their costs predictable, repeatable month after month, but not necessarily imposing any caps to how much they use the service. There's also the option for customers to self-manage. So Mitel provides this service as part of a managed implementation option. So providing the support, the activation services, the ongoing lifecycle management. But we don't restrict customers from being able to go in and make changes themselves. So that could be adding a new user, making changes to your call flow, accessing your billing information, access of call reporting, management information. All of that is accessible and driven by the customer from the self-service administration console. So that gives that customer full access to all of their communication setup. The plans themselves are also mix and match. So if a customer has a particular requirement for, let's say, a large business, and they've got some teams of their users that need to have very specific functionality, but that's isolated, or maybe the rest of the business doesn't need quite as much in terms of features, then of course the customer can deploy just those users with the advanced profiles that they need, and then the other users can have a slightly more cost-reduced profile. It's fully scalable on demand as well, so you haven't got to worry about limits in terms of size. I mean, the biggest customer that we have on Micloud Connect today in the UK is around 3,500 users. Globally, we've got about an 8,500 user customer in the US, and we're talking to customers in far in advance of that. So as far as the size of the platform, it's by no means limited to any sort of constraints that we've put on it. It's just about how big our customers want to be. There's also a wealth of native integrations as well. So for those customers that want to tie that service into popular services like Microsoft 365, applications like Outlook, Dynamics, as well as Microsoft Teams. There's a full integration there that's supported, as well as non-Microsoft integrations, things like Salesforce, Google, and other leading CRMs, with the ability to leverage powerful APIs to tie those services into other solutions, bespoke solutions, or industry-specific solutions. All of this would be great if it wasn't backed by a very strong availability SLA. Then it would kind of be a moot point. But the great thing is because of our partnership with Google, Micloud Connect is delivered from Google Cloud, offers 5 nines of availability from Google, end-to-end encryption across the service as well. So you can rest assured that anytime you need to be able to communicate with Micloud Connect, it's going to be there, it's going to be available, and it's also going to be fully secure. There's also, as I mentioned briefly, fully managed implementation services. So every customer has 24/7, 365 support straight from Mitel, and that is directly with our support engineers across the world. So you haven't got to worry about necessarily missing out from any sort of issues that you may be having with the service or any questions that you have. This is a great slide. I think this summarizes what the wealth of different ways that a customer can interact with Micloud Connect through Mitel's proprietary 6900 series handsets, our SIP deck devices, analog devices, or the applications that are available for mobile and desktop. All of those provide a really nice, consistent and seamless experience for the customers that are working with it. I'm going to very quickly jump into a desktop share now because I want to show you the applications themselves. I think it's really important that we don't just talk about these things, but we actually show them. So what I've got on the desktop here is I've got the Micloud Connect client running on my desktop. And I use this client day in, day out. It's the internal client that we use as a business. For me to be able to interact with this client on a daily basis really enhances my productivity, whether I'm interacting with an individual, whether I'm interacting with a group of users, whether I'm handling voicemails, instant messaging, joining meetings, all of these things are fully integrated into the Connect experience. Office 365 just brings all of those contacts and calendar events into one place. Makes it very, very easy for me to route calls, very, very easy to transfer calls to colleagues. In the event that I'm not able to handle that inquiry, I can push that call through to any extension just by dragging and dropping, and from there that call is then transferred and then moved across to that colleague. So great for enterprise communications environments where you need to have a robust solution, something that's easy to understand for your users, so they're not having to spend time trying to work out how these solutions work. And as I mentioned before, we've got a fully managed environment for being able to go in and make changes to your configuration. So this is, again, is available for all customers. Sorry, let's just relog into, I can't actually see that. There we go. Oh, God, try that again. It's kicked me out. All right. Such is the power of the demo. Okay, right. Let's try that again. Because it is, I logged in beforehand, and of course it's just it's thrown me out. There we go. Excellent. Right, let's go back in. So we've got a demo system here that is using our what we call the customer console, and that customer console again allows us for goodness sake,
Technology.
I know the demo. It works every time. Honestly, try and prepare for these things and log into all these applications first, and then.
There you go.
There we go, brilliant. So the customer console allows us to, as a customer, log in, make changes to our environment. We can add users, customize our call flows. Anything that we need to do in relating to managing our communications environment is, again, very simple, very straightforward. We've got the option to come into here, make changes to the user environments. We can change what add-on services we have. We can change our profile type. Anything we need to do at any point during our contract, we can change it to suit our needs as we evolve, as our needs as a business evolves. We've got full ownership of all of that. Again, the call flows, being able to set up hunt groups, auto attendance, very, very simply, very easy, visual to understand options for doing that. Really, really powerful ways of setting up auto attendance, making that nice and scalable, very simple to achieve. So very, very high level overview of the Connect experience there, just to give you a kind of a flavor of what's possible. If you do want to sort of see the solution in a bit more detail and talk about migration options for customers, then absolutely we'd love to do that. And just to sort of round out today's session, I want to talk a bit about the future as well. We've got some significant investment being made into Mitel Connect, and part of that will be the Mitel One application, which is our next generation client for both unified communications and contact center. So Mitel is going to be unifying the desktop experience and the customer experience piece into a single application, again across the desktop, the handset devices, the mobile devices. This is going to be fundamentally very game-changing to what we've done previously. So we're really excited about bringing this to market. We obviously we've only announced it a couple of months ago. We'll be bringing a lot more updates to market over the next few weeks. So keep your eye out for that. As I say, if there is any opportunity to talk to you about your Mitel environment, ways that we can help support migrations, if you're looking at a Mitel solution, then absolutely please feel free to reach out to Primetel, and we'll be happy to talk to you. But yeah, is there any questions from anybody in the room today?
Dan, are there any incentives for existing on-prem Mitel customers to migrate to to Micloud?
Absolutely there is, yes, and they change on a sort of relatively reasonable basis. Every quarter, I think it is that they change. But typically it will be a migration incentive around things like discounted handsets, discounted profiles, free installation, services, month services free. So it really depends on the quarter the customer is looking to make that commitment, but absolutely there is always migration discounts for customers that are looking to move from premises or other Micloud services such as partner hosted or something like that to Micloud Connect. So absolutely yes, we can, if a customer wants to do that, we can look at what incentives are available at that point in time.
Okay, thank you very much. Thanks.
Okay.
Thank you, Daniel. That was great. It's really great to see, you know, not just Mitel, but the other providers now moving away from more of that, the reseller model, and going to the direct model. You know, I think gone are the days where you need to go through a third party that's providing your phone system. Ultimately, now the world that we find ourselves in today, that third party is just putting another hop in the way of, you know, service delivery, technical support, billing. So yeah, Primetel, we advocate going directly to the supplier and getting the direct benefits from that. So it's great to see that Mitel now have that ability to work in that way. So once again, thank you all for coming. I will follow up with you all individually. Hopefully we'll be able to help you on that journey of transformation and maybe set up more of a one-to-one session with one, all, or additional suppliers that we haven't featured here today. But ultimately our job is to help you find that right solution. So once again, thank you to suppliers. Thank you for attending and enjoy the rest of your day.
Cheers, Scott.
Cheers, guys.